Hey guys, welcome back to Jury Rig Garage. I'm Davis. We're going to be continuing on working on the 2016 Porsche Cayenne that I got recently. So in the last video, I showed you guys this new car that I bought. Purpose is to basically find a broken car, fix it, and sell it. So that's basically what we are doing. In the last video, we diagnosed it. We got a couple check engine codes. Cylinders 4 and 5 are misfiring for different reasons. Cylinder 5 is misfiring probably because of a injector short, so I'm going to be checking the wiring harness under the intake manifold. Cylinder 4 though, that one is a tough break. That one is misfiring because of low compression. So we ran a compression test, it came back 30. Test all the other ones. I think, yeah, we still have it written up here. We have, you know, pretty decent and even compression across all the cylinders except for cylinder 4. So we did a leak down test, and pretty much all I heard was a little bit of air coming out of the crankcase and then a little bit of air coming out of the exhaust. So it could be piston ring, it could be pistons, it could be an exhaust valve. I was reading about these, and it's very common for the valves to get burnt up and they can lose or seal or chip. Since the timing on this thing is pretty on point, so I connected my scanner to it. It was reading 25 degrees advanced for the intake and -15 for the exhaust, and that was what the computer was targeting. So as long as your computer's targeting a certain degree and you're actually achieving it, you're also not getting any kind of like timing or over advance or over retard codes, then you're pretty much set on the actual timing of the motor. So that leads me to believe that it has something to do with just the mechanical side of things, not just the timing. So like a valve is messed up, or head gas. I mean, head gas, it's not really likely, but piston rings, valve, something like that. So to help us more troubleshoot this, I got a better bore scope. So this guy is higher resolution, higher frame rate, and then if I hit this guy, you can see the actual camera lens moves, so I can look vertical, straight up and down. So that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to set up the camera real quick, and we're going to bore scope, check the valves. Another thing that I've read on these is that the cylinder walls can get worn down, and if that's kind of the worst case scenario, that will require basically a new motor or machine shop work if it is a valve. Regardless, I'm pretty certain the result is we're gonna have to pull this motor no matter what the case is. But if it's a valve, it's just a cylinder head issue. We just replace the valve, get it back in there, refreshed with some new gaskets, and we'll be all good. We'll get back on the road. So I'm gonna send this bore scope in, and I'm gonna show you. One of the nice things about this, like I said, is this allows me to change the camera direction. So when I insert it into the spark plug hole, it's a bit easier compared to what it was before, because I'm going in blind and the hole of the spark plug is basically as small as this is. So getting it in is kind of hard. There we go. It's all turned on. I'll go ahead and get this set down in there. We're in again. Hopefully it doesn't get washed out. But the cylinder walls, you can see there's cross hatching, so that's very good. We'll just put it in more, and we will flip her over to see if we can get some view of the pistons or the valves. There's one of the valves. Let's see if I can turn her around. That's good. That looks good. And there. Yep, that's pretty bad. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is, I think, one of the exhaust valves. Yeah, so, okay, let's check the other one real quick. That one doesn't look too bad. It's really just that one. So definitely a big chip in the valve. That will definitely prevent it from firing, or holding compression. But the good news is the cylinder walls look good. Like there's definite cross hatching. That's just where the top of the piston doesn't reach, but I see a little bit of wear there, but that's not too bad. I mean, I see overall, just good cross hatching, but lots of oil on the piston itself. I don't see any chips in the piston, no obvious damage to the piston or rings. It's just going to be that valve. So guys, I hope that came through on camera okay, but yeah, that's definitely the explanation for the low compression. I'm surprised it's even holding 30 PSI when it's cranking, I guess just so fast, it holds a little bit of pressure. But that little chip in the valve, that'll do it. So we have to definitely pull the head. I asked online, and I kind of just already knew this. I realized this at the end of the last video. If we need to pull the cylinder head, we have to pull the motor because the timing chain isn't in the front. So this is just bare block, and then the crank. There's nothing here, no timing components. It's on the rear of the motor. So if we were to do that, you need to disconnect the timing chain to remove the cylinder heads, but since on the back, like, it's just impossible to get to. So I don't know what the capabilities are for me to, what I'm going to do regardless is I'm going to pull the intake, just make the package smaller if I do need to pull out the whole motor, which would give me likelihood. But I'm also going to pull the valve cover, just get eyes on the back, the cam phasers, the timing chain, everything to make sure 100% that the motor needs to be taken out before I can proceed. I mean, if I can pull the cam gears off and keep them in place and finagle it up and out that way, I would definitely prefer that. And then, I mean, I almost have nothing to lose by doing that, because if it messes up, I just pull the motor because, it's not like the motor's going to run. I'll just make sure that everything's set properly. But, end of the day, it's probably just going to be a motor pull. Some of the stuff I've seen online is that you can set these cars into a service mode or dealer service mode, meaning it's just easy to pull the front bumper, headlights, radiator, basically the whole front end and the bash bar, so that it can just come straight out the front. But honestly, the motor, it doesn't look that hard to reach. I mean, we have miles of room on both sides, especially once the intake's off and some of these coolant hoses are out of the way. I would probably at minimum need to remove the radiator, but just take out the front motor mounts, bell housing, torque converter bolts, exhaust, and it can come up and out, I'm assuming. Just take off the hood, radiator can come up and out versus having to take apart everything in the front end. So I'll try to decide what is the best course of action, but just for right now, minimum, I'm going to start working on pulling the intake manifold off. So process for that, I just have to remove the throttle body, disconnect some of that wiring. I have a PCV hose right here that goes to the back, another hose bracket, heat shield. Back here, this line I think is just press fit line. I can wiggle that out, and that's pretty much that side done. And then on this side, I just need to disconnect this dipstick bracket. Like, look at this dipstick, guys. Like, how's that? How are you going to check oil with that? Remove the dipstick bracket. Remove this. I think this is for the variable runners on the intake side. These coolant hoses, they just pop out of the way. We'll pull them up and out of the way. Just pretty easy. And then we'll have access to some of the stuff down here. There are some bolts that we need to get to. So right there is some T30s. So there's 3 of them. And then down below, this one's going to be a little hard to see. Yeah, that guy where my finger is, it's kind of hidden. That is I believe it's a triple square 10 mil. There's 2 of them, or maybe 3, just under there. And finally, I think there are some high pressure fuel pump stuff that connects to the intake manifold that we'll need to disconnect the fuel lines to. I think the rails are connected to this. I'm not sure. I'll need to double check, but I think you need to touch that. Then the whole thing can lift up and off, and we'll gain a lot more room, because as you can see, this is a pretty big intake. Like, all the way here, this whole thing is the intake. So I'll start working on taking that off. All right, everyone, I'm back. There was a bit of time lapsing, a lot of work. Porsche took extra care to make sure that everything was very easy to get up on this side. Definitely not the case. You can't see anything. There's some brackets with the bolts upwards, so you have to get underneath and up into it. The high pressure fuel pump, at least in one of the guides I saw, mentions it needs to come out. The rubber fuel lines were just absolutely frozen on the barb there. It took a lot of work. That by itself probably took 20-ish plus minutes just to get off. There's a couple other things that weren't shown in the video that I saw. So there is a bracket right here that runs along the bottom. You can see a little bit, it's just that gray bracket. The video I saw only shows a bolt here, but there's actually another bolt on the other side where the bracket ends up about right here. It just mirrors it. It's right there. I don't know if I can show you, but that's about as close as I can get to it. You just follow the bracket under that runner and you'll find it. There are 3 bolts on the bottom, 4 on the top, and at that point, now that everything's disconnected, oh, and this is not without casualty, unfortunately. I don't know where it went. Here, there it is. PCV hose down. This thing is just incredibly brittle from the heat cycles and oil. You can just hear it cracking. took almost no force and it just snapped off, and it's still attached to the intake there. So I'm gonna set up the camera. I'm gonna pull it up. As you guys can see, it's moving now. No guarantee that everything's disconnected. It should be, but you know, who knows with this car. German cars and just what I saw online said it should be one thing and it wasn't, so we're gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna set up the tripod for you guys. There. You guys got a good view? Yes. So just lift up here first and then pull up and out, I believe. Lots of stuff gets in the way, so that'll happen. All right, let me see what I'm getting stuck up on. I don't think really anything. It just might be some, there we go. You know, just break everything. Oh yeah, okay. So the fuel rail, this is supposed to stay on there, but I think part of my prying pulled it off. But this is one of the high pressure high pressure fuel rails. See, this is one of the things. I don't know if the lower one you really need to disconnect anything, but they had you do it, and also the top side, so yippee, we got that. Good job, Porsche. But here's the top injectors. There's a bottom, and yeah, this one clip is a little busted. I need to figure out which one's which for my own troubleshooting for that cylinder 5, because it said one of them was having the short, so, oh wow. Whew, I found the problem, guys. Dang, someone had taken this off at some point, and they smushed this stuff. Let me get that for you. Well, no guarantees this is the issue, but dang, this is pretty damning. It's kind of smoking gun. But look at that, guys. I don't think that's working as it should. It was right up against right here. It was just smushed. Yeah, right there. It was smushed up. So that is pretty bad. I will cut back this loom, and oh man, every single one of these need to be cut and replaced, I think. That is just messed up. Who would do that? But this whole area is very low access overall. It just, when they put this together, it just got smushed. So I'm definitely going to take care when I put it back together. But we got 2 smoking guns in one video, and we just complete explanation for this stuff, I'm pretty sure. We got that chipped valve for sure for the cylinder 4 misfire and low compression. And then look at that. I mean, this could be affecting all of them, but there's one of them that is 5, and that is definitely messed up. So I will figure out which one of these injectors. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will figure out which one is what so I can properly fix them. You know, these bottom 3 have their own separate harness, so I'm assuming number 5 is going to be one of these. And we're just looking. So this is 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. So this must be 5. Just looking in order, and then that's 6. So I can just take this loom off and figure out which one's which. But again, like I said, I'm just going to take these all apart. Just cut them a bit short and do some new wires, and that should do it. There, yeah, that's it right there. So this is 5. So this definitely messed up 5. Just trying to see if I can see some exposed wire. Yeah, they're definitely, I see a little bit. It's kind of hard to pick up a camera, but right where these 2 wires are together, they're smushed. So I'm also going to just do some testing. You can just test the injector itself, make sure that it's good, but we'll get to that later. All of the ignition coil connectors, they are completely broken, as you can see. So I got new connectors on order, so we'll just remove these, depin them, put the new one in. You can see that these get kind of messed up under here. I don't believe we're having any trouble codes for the ignition coil shorts. I'll double check, but you know, this exposed wire isn't good to have. I'll probably just remove these brackets and then re-lume them. Make sure that they're all clean and tight. Maybe get some anti-abrasion tape on there. I need to order some up. But lots of liquid on the top of here. This is where the PCV valve broke off, or the hose for it. So then you get the new hose. I do have new valve cover gasket and new PCV valve to replace in here. So I'm going to continue working on this. And man, that sucks. That's another thing. This part broke. As you can see, that connects to this rail, like this one. That's how it's supposed to be. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. This stuff is just all messed up. Gives us more room, more visibility on what needs to happen here. Once we get to the point where we pull the engine to fix that valve, you know, we have the down pipes here. Probably just disconnect these studs, disconnect the cylinder heads there, drop the exhaust a bit, get the manifolds out of the way. I can see the starter down there. Remove the starter. I can access the torque converter bolts. Come over this side. Just some coolant stuff. I'll just work on getting the accessories up and out of the way. So AC compressor and the alternator. There's definitely a lot more coolant stuff down here. There's like a whole coolant manifold or something. I don't even know what that looks like one. So pull that off, knock sensor, get the injector sensors off of this thing. Sorry, injector connectors. And yeah, that's another coolant hose. This thing is just a huge pitta, you know? This thing is just a huge pain in the ass, I have to say. This rail right here, whatever this coolant thing is, this thing, it bolted to the bottom of the intake and it had a bunch of clips, and it would also get in the way of the bolt holes for the intake manifold. So that sucked. Yep, some vacuum lines. Should probably smoke test some of this stuff. I mean, like right there, looks like it's just a break in the vacuum line. I don't even know. Maybe some sleeving that's just torn. But I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting this off. Looks like it's just a bunch of 10 millimeters. I'll just get this harness bracket out of the way, up and over. We'll get a look at them cams. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and do this live. Got this triple square 10 millimeter right here. Not even gonna bother with messing with these plastic clips to try to get them off. I'm just gonna unbolt the bracket from the head, and then this whole thing will just kind of sit out of the way. There you go, coming out pretty easily. All right, there we go, got that one out there. And this whole thing, if I unclip this here, will sit out of the way. All right, there we go, got that off. Now this whole thing I'm just gonna put over to the side for now. And we got a bunch of 10 millimeters. Some of them are in the rear, gonna be kind of hard to get to. This right here, guys, is refreshing. It's the first normal fastener I've had to deal with today. Everything else have been like T20, T25, 27, T30. We got this triple square 10 mil. Like, what the heck is that? Like, what the fuck is a kilometer, guys? I don't understand this shit. I'm used to, you know, American stuff. So, you know, 10 millimeter ain't exactly American, but something I understand. I'm actually now just realizing there's some RTV residue. They double gasketed it. They put the Fel-Pro and then the RTV. So it's gonna take even more cleanup time. That's one of the important things when you are working on a car is the prep. So making sure that all this excess RTV is gone and out of the way is going to be very important. I don't get when people double gasket like that. You know, you're using quality gaskets. You only need the single guy, so I don't know what that's all about. I don't like it. And I bet you there's gonna be a bunch of hidden ones back here. I feel that one. Come on, don't make me do this. There we go. Hopefully it's just these three that I can see and nothing else, you know? You can be a little positive. This is good. Is it gonna stick in the intake? Okay, they got some retainers, so I don't have to worry about these falling out. All right, final two. And this is one of the problems when you're using a electric Milwaukee. You don't want to loosen it too high and then not be able to get your tool out. But I don't think we're going to have a problem with this one. Maybe this one. This one is pretty tight. Always have an exit strategy. Start walking the tool up and out. But I think that's it. We'll give this a shot and pull her up. That's everything. Oh, there we go. Look at that, guys. Ooh, pretty. I did the dumb thing. I accidentally dropped 3. That's good. We got the catcher down there. I'll figure it out. Put that in the sink. Yeah, guys, I believe this is a Fel-Pro gasket. But look how tall it is. Like, why do you need the RTV on the bottom to hold this? Like, come on, guys. Just gonna take a bunch of extra cleaning and preparation to get this proper. Freaking hate this. But yeah, I mean, all these look pretty good. I don't see any problems right off the top. Not that I'm expecting any. You know, the cam, man, they're so clean. I see no wear on these cams. That's amazing. That looks so clean. I'll have to get some up close photos or something, but that looks really good. Chain is tight. I literally can't, there's no movement. I mean, we're up on these gears, so I wouldn't really expect tons of movement, but really nice. I'm very impressed. 154,000 miles and the cam looks like this. That's so good. I mean, for real, like, look at those cams. They're perfect. Like, I see no wear on them. They're really, really freaking nice. Look at that. They're shiny, they're blingy. All right, guys, well, seeing the cams in that condition is a huge relief. I mean, when you have any kind of engine damage, you definitely don't want any junk going through the motor, through the oil, messing up any of the surfaces. So these cams look amazing. That's really great to see. There's a couple more things I'm gonna go ahead and do. Mainly just getting the accessories off, getting all the coolant stuff off this side. It seems like most of it enters there. I'll be working on getting the exhaust off, starter, bell housing to pull this out because, I mean, goes without saying, I probably won't be able to get the timing stuff off here and suspend it in a way where I can retime the motor safely with the motor in the car. I can't just take the head off like you might do in a normal traditional car where the timing's in the front of the motor. I don't know why it's designed this way, you know, VW doing this. It's kind of stupid to me, but I don't know, maybe there's some unseen benefit I'm unaware of. But regardless, I'm gonna, press forward. We got some, two smoking guns in one video. That's amazing. We got the chipped valve, and then we got those crushed injector wires. Like those injector wires has to be why that injector's not firing. And then the chip piston obviously is why we don't got compression. So that's cylinder 5 and 4 fixed. So we're just gonna be pulling this motor. We're going to be pulling the head, replacing that valve, all new gaskets, fix that wiring, put it back together, and just with those two things, the car should run just fine. So very excited with all that in mind. Like, just look at that. That's insane. I'll need to brush up on some more information, tearing one of these things down. I've seen some videos on just how to do the timing on it, which is fine. But pulling the rest of this thing off, like, there's a lot of stuff around here. So I guess I'm just going to have to start unplugging stuff and just kind of getting the stuff out of the way, drain the coolant, drain the oil. I am interested to see what the oil looks like on this thing. But yeah, just generally getting stuff out of the way. I think once I get, like, for example, these coolant lines up and out, I'll have way more idea of what I'm doing in this space. Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to be continuing on the Porsche today. So as you can see, it's up on the Benpack Max Jacks lifts there, handling it no problem. I'm very impressed with this lift every time I use it. I mean, like, look how much room I have under here. And with the creeper chair that I have built, I have tons of access just under the car. So we'll see under here. I guess my next step for the car is going to be to pull all this undercladding off. So it's just a bunch of 10 mils. But I wanted to bring you through this thing and look at it. I mean, it is totally clean. I don't really see any issues. There's a little bit of scraping. That's usually just from the auction yard hauling the vehicle on a forklift. Kind of unfortunate, but whatever. The rear though, I mean, look how clean this is. That's the rear differential, or the transfer case rather. The drive shaft is perfectly clean. Exhaust is all clean. Here's the rear differential. Completely dry, no wetness whatsoever. The only damage I did see back here was this exhaust tip. It is definitely bent, so I assume somebody bumped into this and it just wedged it. So I'll either need to fix this pipe, weld it or something, or even just buy a replacement, because I can just disconnect it right there. Might be easiest. Well, definitely will be easiest to buy a new one, but that's expensive. It's probably like $100 to get a new exhaust tip for this thing. So we found the two smoking guns as to why this car is not running. First off, the biggest one, cylinder 4, has 30 PSI of compression. So that's really bad. We bore scoped it and found that one of the valves, I believe it's the exhaust valve, chipped. So I did some reading on this, and this happens with these cars, or you just, I don't know. I don't know if it's specifically these motors, but a lot of these German cars, sometimes you'll experience lean conditions. Either injector went out. It's very likely when the injector wire harness got crimped, maybe that just cut fuel to it, just got hot. It could be a vacuum leak. It could be just carbon deposits built up in the valves, got dislodged and chipped the valve when it was shutting. It's usually just a mixture of heat over time, expanding, contracting it, fatiguing the metal, and then something causing it to chip. The timing looked good as far as like the cam timing, and the chain was great. The top end looks great. No sludge, no deposits in there, no varnish. It was amazing. It looks very, very good wear-wise. So I don't think anything mechanically caused the valve to chip, meaning like no piston to valve, but it's definitely just going to be, that heat and fatigue and stuff. So we got to pull the motor out of this thing, and it's not as simple as just pulling the cylinder head off, unfortunately, because the timing is in the rear of the motor. I can't really show very well. Maybe I can get a sneaky guys in there. Yeah, you can see right back there. There's the timing chain. So we're gonna have to pull the motor. I got it up in the Porsche up in the air. I'm just gonna be draining the oil, coolant, and taking off the undercladding, seeing if there's anything else. I'm gonna see if I can do this without taking off the whole front fascia. A lot of times what Porsche will do is take the headlights, the bumper, crash bar, radiators, and that includes not just a radiator, but the transmission cooler, the AC condenser, the power steering cooler. I think there's one more cooler in there too. So I want to avoid that. I don't want to do all that work. So I'm gonna see if I can pull it out. It looks simple. So basically I will just start with unplugging things, all the wiring harness. I'll get the coolant hoses out of the way, any engine grounds, and then I can access the exhaust manifolds, the starter, bell housing bolts, torque converter bolts, and at that point, it's basically ready to pull out. Some of the videos I've seen, I think possibly why they require you to take the front bumper off is they remove it with the motor mounts connected. They're large ears that are pretty long, and they're just width-wise large. So I'll see what I can do. If I need to take off the front bumper, I will do that. But I'm gonna see what I can get away with here. All right, let's see. Yep, there's a lot of, man, I smell a lot of gas. That's what happens when you disconnect the fuel lines. But, all right, that one is missing, that's fine. Some of these are different. I mean, some of these, oh yeah, they're all mismatched. That's what you wanna see. Let's go around here. Okay, there's a couple that are hiding. That's fine. You know, having a couple hold on, that's good. Okay, now it's just gonna be a drop. Also, I think some of the valve cover bolts might be in here, so. Yep, there's one. This last one is that. It's a little bit of oil. I do notice that. I was gonna say on the front cover, it's not really front cover. The front of the motor, there's a sensor, and I think it's just leaking oil or something. It's just, it's got on the serpentine belt and stuff, so we'll take care of that. But I think I only got 2 more bolts on this, so we can access the drain pan for the drain bolt for the oil pan. Okay, that's stuck. That's fine. These are like threaded all the way through, which is weird. So I guess I can hold some of the bolts in it. So there is the drain bolt for the oil pan. Right up there, that's where the oil filter goes. Power steering, or sorry, no, not power steering. That is the differential, I believe. Yeah, front differential, front axle. I can't really see much. I mean, part of that, there's a starter above it, which I can access from the top, I believe. So that won't be too bad to reach. Front of the motor, yeah, you can see that oil. Also, there's a little bit of a coolant leak right there, I believe. It's like dried coolant or something. But yeah, definitely, I'll double check. Let's see what this is. See if this is oil or see if this is coolant. There's also something at the bottom of the oil pan. There's a lot of leaks on the front, unfortunately. I'm seeing right here. Is that oil or is that coolant? Looks a little green, has no smell. I'm a little reluctant to lick it. I'm, you know, don't lick, you know, fluids you don't know what they are. But I'm gonna say that's coolant. Yeah, it's definitely coolant. That's gross. I need to wash out my mouth. But anyways, yep. So whatever that is, I think that's leaking a little bit. Definitely that coolant. This coolant line leaking a little bit. But anyways, I'm going to try removing some of the bottom of this because right up in there, and it's gonna be hard to see, right at the bottom of that, that's a petcock, and I can drain the radiator, which definitely want to do. Also, just drain the oil, like I said, right there. Looks like there's 2 bell housing bolts here. The motor is actually quite far forward, which is nice. It's mainly, you know, front, I don't know what you call it. Like Subaru's, the motor, you can basically access the bell housing from the engine bay. You can also do that similarly with this. So, pretty good. I will take advantage of that fully. The Germans were thinking with that one. VW. But, yeah, lots to go through here. Subframe. Yeah, another option for this whole thing would be to drop the subframe. So just unbolt the transmission mount, unbolt where it mounts to the actual frame up there, drop the struts at the top, and then I have a hydraulic lift table over there, which could facilitate this, but my garage, at least with how the car's set up right here, I would need like the garage door open, and I couldn't really open it that high to drop the whole subframe with the garage door open. That's one of the struggles. I mean, some cars it works, some cars it doesn't. It just depends on how tall it is. SUVs don't really work that way, but like we did that on the Bonneville. We made that work. We ripped that stuff out. We ripped that shit out. So it is possible. It just depends on the car. So for this, I'm going to work on pulling it out the traditional route. So there is the power steering. Right above it is the AC compressor. Above that is the alternator, some tensioner stuff. So this gives me a little bit of access here to unbolt it. I believe I can just leave the accessory bracket on and have all of the accessories to the side. And then, yeah, we'll just lift and remove this thing. A lot of brackets like these are either power steering or transmission lines. I think they're just transmission lines. Yeah, they go back. Unbolt that from the engine. There's a lot of tiny things, and there's not an exact good guide on YouTube that I saw. And guess what, guys? I'm not also doing a specific guide for you. I'm gonna try just working on this and making it happen. So anyways, I'm gonna get started with draining the engine oil and the coolant. All right, let's see if I can catch this on camera and not make a huge mess. I got a bunch of different socket sizes. And there we go, first try. Looks like that was an 18. Seems maybe a little loose. Try 17. No, it's an 18. All right, let's give this a go. Ow, just popped my knee. Oh, come on, come on, come on, let's do it. Come on. Yeah. Oh, crap, that's tight. Holy crap. Oh my goodness. I'm getting running over my Milwaukee. Come on. My God, that is so tight. What the heck, guys? Who did this? Who allowed this? Holy crap. That was tight. I don't understand people who do that. Sorry, just moving you guys out of the way. Why tighten this so hard? I need a little bit more. Might need to get a ratcheting wrench. It's just gonna run into the thing. Remind me, guys, what size was that? Was it 18? You guys just get to hear me struggle as I walk around with this mic, but that's fine. All right, let's see. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Yeah, I feel like they cross-threaded this or something. That's insane. What monkey touched this thing last? Come on. Oh my God. I've never had such a tight drain bolt before. It's almost out. Let's see, can I do that by hand? Oh my God, they crushed something. Like, dear God. It's like a metal thing. Like, what the heck is that? Is that the crush washer? Might need to buy a new one. That's it. Oh Jesus, got oil all over myself. Looks clean. That is, yeah, that's not too bad. Not bad at all. It's a lot of oil though. And the drain bolt, this was the washer, quote unquote, that was on that thing. Yeah, I might buy a new drain bolt. That looks pretty messed up. There's the mess that I made. Just fell right on me. So I'm gonna let this drain and clean up real quick. All right guys, just trying to wrap my head around everything that needs to come out. I did off camera undo just a couple of brackets, mainly one just being a coolant hose that ran across this whole thing. But I think I need to remove this fan shroud to be able to access some stuff. I mean, I'm doing this a little bit backwards. Like I said, the actual proper way, and I keep saying this, is the taking off the headlights and the bumper. But I'm lazy. I'm seeing what I can get away with. So just going to be undoing some of these things here. It's like this big old cable for the electric fans. Yeah, disconnect that guy. Looks like we got some clips here. Just pop off like so, up and out. That also connects to the MAF sensor connector. There we go. We got all the wires out of the way now. I'm just gonna see if I can snake this up and out of the way for myself. More room I can give myself here, the better. Next, I have this like coolant crossover guy. Oops. What are you guys doing looking over there? You gotta look over here. I do not have the most stable camera setup right now, so bear with me here. So yeah, just this crossover tube. It looks like it was held in by like two T30s. Pop that out of the way. And then I think I have one more T30 here and I can pull the fan shroud out. Where did I put my tool? There we are. Yeah. One thing that is not good, in my opinion, about this whole situation in this car is all these different fasteners. They're like a little bit different. Remembering where they all go. You know, I got a pretty good memory for that stuff, but some of it is, you know, just a lot of random stuff. Also, these are really not bolts. They're like screws. I'm not used to cars with screws in them. Guess that just means they're a little bit interchangeable. Taking this guy out, and I'll have that upper hose kind of out of the way. So there we go. There's the hose. Might knock you guys over. You're kind of in the path. Let's see if I can. There we go. You guys don't see that. It's all happening behind you. We'll move that back into place once this fan shroud's out of the way. Oh yeah, then there's just that one. There's like a big aluminum tube that passes through. Oh, that's right in your way, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, there's a big aluminum tube that transfers some of the lines over here down to the bottom of the radiator, and it just held into the fan shroud. So this is the last one, hopefully. And then this looks like it just pops up, like straight up, and we should be able to get this out of the way. Oh, also, obviously, I put the car back on the ground. I'm not, you know, like 8 feet tall right now. I'm just reaching up over here. So that is out of the way. Hopefully, please, just lift up, please. Yeah. There's some, yeah, just like clips. I don't know if I need to pull up on these. I think I just go straight up. I don't see anything else really holding it on. I'm gonna do a no-no right now. Yeah, it's not wanting to really budge. It'll come up, or sorry, come out, but it's not coming up. I think it's just a little bit caught up on some of these. Oh, is this? You, come on, buddy. Work with me. Are they clipped in? No, it just slides in. I don't know why it's being dumb right now. I really hope these aren't clips, because they're kind of stiff. I think they're just slots that the radiator sits in. It's just like, it was like, whoop, like that. So, don't know why the fan is not wanting to come out. There's nothing on the underside that's preventing it. It literally just needs to come straight up from what I can see. Oh, no, I see. This side has a clip. This side surely does too. Yep. So there's some retaining clips right here. And it's just on the top two brackets. There's two clips on either side. There we go, that one up. Now I just need to hold tension and pull this one up now too. I need like 3 hands for this, guys. Yeah, you hear that just clicked back in. So this side, maybe I can just hold with the pry bar. Pry bar, stay, pry bar. Okay, that side's up over its clip. Yeah, there we go. So close. What is it caught on now? I think that clip is still just holding it on a bit. Yeah, there we go. Oh, come on. Aluminum hose, get out of the way. We don't need you anymore. Yeah. Oh, baby. There we go. That was a good, probably like 5, 6 inches of additional space we get. Yeah, that's good. Nice. Yep. Now I just need to figure out some of this other stuff. I do see some oil lines going to the radiator, which I don't like because that means if I undo them, I'm gonna lose some oil somewhere. Probably transmission, or maybe that's the oil cooler, the actual engine oil cooler. I'm not sure. But regardless, it gives me a lot more access to some of this stuff here. And access is what I need right now. It's all I need is some access. Looks like there's just some clips holding on this upper radiator shroud. So I'm gonna pull these out. Come on, work with me. Come on, buddy. Owie. Don't do that. All right, I'm gonna put these somewhere. Let's see, maybe pocket. Why are you holding on? So this separates, so that's the radiator. This is the AC condenser, I believe. Hey, okay. We're not wanting to really separate, but I see why. This little tab here. There we go. Okay, that popped off. I don't know if I can just pull this up and out. That'd be pretty sweet if I could. No, it is a duct that kind of comes in this way. So to remove this piece of trim, I would need to definitely remove the front bumper. But that's fine. I don't really need to worry about that. Just the radiator, like I mentioned. Even this top shroud, I probably don't need to remove. I can just wiggle the radiator forward. Yep. But, you know, looking at this setup, I think there's bolts that go through the bumper, which is a little inaccessible. Like I might be able to remove some of this stuff to access it. I think it goes through to it. No, it's just these clips. They have to be. They probably made it simple. Yeah, I can definitely move the radiator. So it is just something like that. Yeah, these guys just pop up. I don't want to break anything, but this clip here holds that in. And then the bottom, it's just a couple of coolant hoses. From here, you guys can see a little bit better what I'm talking about. There's the big aluminum pipe that goes over to these pipes here, these hoses. The aluminum bracket is really weak, so this gets bent up. This was already bent, so basically just have to get it to line up where they bolt to. So there's one right there, and then the other one is right here. But as you can see, this is the radiator. Right under it, or behind it rather, is the, I can show you that way. Not really. All you can really see right there, that's the condenser. So the condenser sits under this radiator's front. As I see it, once I pull that hose and then the radiator, that gives me quite a bit of room up here if we need to just pull the motor forward. Like really all we have to gain clearance in is the rear of the cylinder head there and the cowl. So it only needs to come out and up a little bit once we're actually ready to pull the motor. This is that coolant hose that I mentioned that bolted to the front of the fan shroud. So this was just move this out of the way right here. But now I'm going to tackle some of this other stuff. So we got the main coolant hose here. We have the oil cooler lines, I think those are. And then I do think I need to unbolt that guy. That's AC. Yeah, that's the AC lines to the condenser. It bolts to the radiator, it looks like. Yep, that moves all as one. So I just need to unbolt that guy right there, and I'll separate from it. And then my goal is not to discharge the AC system. I really don't want to have to recharge this thing. I don't know if you guys know, but Freon's expensive. And where I live, you can't buy it off the shelf. I have to go to another state to buy it. So that kind of sucks. Yeah, but once we have that space here, it's just, and the coolant drained, I'll be able to start tackling some of this stuff. This big rat's nest of coolant hoses and wires. So right here is the thermostat housing radiator line that goes down to the bottom of the radiator. The top side that goes to the back of the back of the motor here. I think this, yeah, connects to a junction right there. Unbolt that. One thing I did see someone who pulled the motor on an older one that had the VR6 in it, is you don't really have to pull off a whole lot from the car. Like you can leave a lot on. Like I mentioned, the accessory bracket can stay on. You just need to pull the accessories off of it, like the alternator, power steering pump, AC compressor. But the bracket itself that they bolt to can stay on. Same with this. All the coolant lines, you just have to pull them off. So for example, the, radiator hose right here, the thermostat housing, this whole manifold deal, I just have to undo the hose off this and it can basically stay with the motor when I pull it out. And then what I was mentioning, like you can see how big of a ear this is. So you just take off the top bolt there and then lift the motor up. So that's why I think partly why they take apart the whole front end to pull this out. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, I can just actually unbolt the motor mount from here, bolt them back together. When they're coming back together, I don't expect any issues with the exhaust here. I'm going to definitely blast these with some liquid wrench and let them sit overnight. Over multiple days, actually. I don't plan on even working on this today. So the exhaust side today. Need to let that soak for sure. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna get that radiator out of here. I'm just gonna drain it, pull it out, hopefully not make a mess, but that never happens, guys. I have to say, anytime you're working on a car and you're just like, I'm not gonna get a drip of oil on the ground, doesn't happen. Already got my leg, as you saw. So yeah, I'll be right back. All right, guys, I did some more looking on the radiator, and this might just be a me issue, but I couldn't find the petcock. I don't know why. It's just not at the bottom. I got the camera down there. You know, it's a little hard to see down there, but I mean, I checked everywhere under there. I could actually get my hand under the radiator, and I didn't feel any petcock. So we're just going to drop the lower radiator hose here. This is one of these fancy German ones. I don't know why they have, like, maybe it's easier. I don't know. Some of the stuff, it looked easy. So it's got just a clip, which I'm going to grab that. I don't want to lose it. Yeah. Where'd you go? There it is. You tried getting away, but you couldn't. All right. So now I have the pan under there to hopefully catch this coolant. But yeah, now that retaining clip's out, I think it just pops out. So everyone wished me luck. I guess also there is just a, oh no, that's just I can't remove that hose clamp. I do have a clamp here I could try removing, but I don't want to. I'm pretty certain once I have that retaining clip out, it just, you know, it just works. So yeah, I don't want to break it. God dang. Some coolant came out, so I think I'm on the right track. I'm see about putting you guys down. I wish Tristan were here so he could help record, but he's not. So that's fine. I'm just gonna try setting you down, and you can hopefully watch me just spill coolant everywhere. Tristan is not here, and he might not be for the rest of the episode or the next one. He has some family stuff going on. So, but let's see, where can I put you? Where do you even want to sit? Right here? Does right here work for you guys? Can you even see? No. Maybe you can sit on the motor. Almost. This guy's in the way. Nope. Getting hung up. Something like that. You can see up there. Right here. It's gonna be hopefully good enough. But I can totally imagine. Oh yeah, there we go. It's gonna come. Can imagine a bunch of coolants right behind here. Let me see if that caught everything. Ooh, get some buckets to catch what's needed. There we go. Pretty much everything, guys. Yeah. And I probably shouldn't have removed the overflow cap because that lets it just bleed right through. There it is. It looks like they used green coolant or something. So it should be red. We will fix that for sure. This guy's like a little ramp, so that's good. This is probably the most successful radiator coolant dump I've ever done before. You know, even if you get the petcock, it's still not a perfect system. You're probably going to get some water on the ground. So, yeah, that worked. We're just going to let this continue draining. I'm sure all this stuff has coolant in it. This guy for sure. You need to remove that. You need to remove this. See about where it connects back here. Yeah, just a little spring clamp on the rear of the motor. I can see a temperature sender, which that guy right there I think is another one of my problems because the gauge immediately reads overheating when you turn this thing on. Not even the engine on, just the key on. Engine on, still same thing. It says fill coolant, so we definitely need to fix that. Yeah, looks like that quieted up. It's a pretty cool design, honestly. Like, just this and then that spring clamp. It's nice. As long as it actually holds coolant, you know? I like that system, you know? I like that system compared to just spring clamps. Like, it's so hard to get them on, get them locked in place. If you have them off the hose, it might just spring and fly somewhere and take your eye out. So, you know, maybe the Germans are onto something with these things. Tell me, do these leak? Do these normally leak? Is that a common problem with them? If they don't, then why don't American automakers go to that system? That's awesome. Maybe getting them, you know, that spring clip back in place. You know, maybe that's a problem. Couldn't tell you. Nice. So with that disconnected, I'm going to disconnect this, and then I think I'm ready to pull the radiator up and out. Let me set you guys up. You're going to be on my tool cart right now. By the way, guys, this tool cart I've had forever. And guess what? You know, 3 tiers, it's made of metal. You know, if you have a magnetic bolt tray, you can just sit right on there. It's durable. It's got wheels. They lock. I got this thing for like 15, 20 bucks at Target. Like, what more could you want? I've had this thing for years, so. All right, let's see if that works. Try not to fall over. You got, the camera looks like it's leaning a little bit that way, so. Just try to stay calm. Don't move. All right, where did I put my tool? You guys aren't keeping an eye out for me. All right, don't fall over. Nope, not in the tray. Where the heck did I put it? I don't want to go all barbaric with this thing. Didn't it go on the ground? Set it on the ground. I did. There it is, guys. Okay, now, I told you not to fall. What the heck? I knew it. I knew you guys were going to fall. Can't handle your drinks. All right, now, try harder this time. No falling. You get a legitimate camera, guys. Working on my iPhone's a little bit too messy at this point. I'm going to disconnect this hose here. Don't mind me. Don't fall over again. Gonna disconnect this guy from all the way over here. This one's pretty simple. Just a little spring retainer clip. If I, simple. Come on, please work with me. There we go. One thing I've noticed is all the rubber lines, especially the fuel lines, they were just completely frozen on the barb. So this one's plastic. The trick is just to twist it, break that seal, and then it should come off. And it is, so far, it's good. I'm gonna let this guy drain actually right into the pan. There we go. Not a lot of coolant, but that's good. You can see right there. Now the upper radiator, I'm actually going to get one of my pans positioned under this area because I'm sure this is gonna leak coolant everywhere. There's the other clip. Eyeballing it, that's best. About as best I can do. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, those are both off. Pull this guy off too while I'm at it, why not? I think this is the one that's leaking on the front. I can see a little bit of weepage under it, so we'll definitely reseal that while we're in there. Just goes to the cylinder head. Nothing in there. Some drips. This guy's basically all... I don't want to lift up and out yet. Let's see if we can just get the radiator out right now. Oh wait, no, I got the oil lines. Now this one is going to be a bit dirty. I can imagine this is going to have some oil in it. So, you know, I should not have been able to grab that clip. I know you guys don't see this right now, but the clip was just on the tangs, the tips of the frickin' plier here. I was afraid I was gonna hurt myself. Come on. Well, that flashlight's gone. Hey, I got more. This one was charged up too. Perfect. That one's probably gonna fall too. They got magnetic bases, but I got bad luck when I place these things. Like, I just can never place them in areas that really hold on. I don't know why. Wait a minute. Now. Oh, come on. Yeah, man. There we go. Come on. There you go. Come on, work with me. There we go. Nice. All right, so now I just got these two oil lines. Okay, just twist them, twist it. Yeah, these guys want to come off. These guys aren't going to give me any trouble. Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's coming off easy. And, yep, that is engine oil. At least I think so. I don't think transmission fluid's supposed to look, like, kind of clear. I think they gave this an oil change recently, too. The oil that came out of it was so clean. What sucks is it's expensive to get these guys oil changes. All right. Both barbs are out. I'm just going to let this drain for a second, and I'll see if I can pull the radiator up and out. Okay, so what does this say? Czech Republic. What the hell is a kilometer? Let's see. These pliers, I think. Oh, what is this? Does this go down? Oh, what the heck? Wow. They got like pins through them. At least this side did. Yeah, this one right here. No, there's no way. There's no way I can do this. This is just ridiculous. Yeah, there's no way. There's physically no room for this pin to come up. I'll show you what you got. Show you guys what I mean. So right here, this is one of the clips. It's this guy. It has these prongs, and you slide it in, and then it clicks in. So to release it, you press these two pins together, and then you can just pull it straight up. Simple. But the other one is right here, right there, that guy. So we got this guy in the way, and this guy is connected to this guy, the bumper. I'm gonna keep messing with this radiator, but I mean, as far as I can tell, at least because of this clip, bumper needs to come off. Tackle this in a second. Definitely, I think I need to just pull that off so I can gain access. Like, this side is free. Also, another problem, again, the condenser feels like it's kind of affixed to it. I don't want that. I don't need that. I don't need that happening right now. I need to be able to have these separate because the AC condenser is not coming out with this thing. So I'm gonna mess around with this and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I totally didn't just make a huge mess. Took off the 3 radiator hoses, so the one that goes to the bottom of the radiator, top of the radiator, and then the one that goes to the cylinder head. I got both of the radiator lines off. What am I running over? My tools. But the last one I need to take out is that one right there. That is the one that goes to the cylinder head. So I have just better access under the vehicle, so I'm just gonna take that hose clamp off, take the barb off, and I should be able to remove those 3 large hoses out of the way. While I was up there, I also took out the injector harness and a bunch of the wiring harness, coolant, knock sensor wiring, just got that out of the way. So I will have more room to start pulling this stuff, but yep, I can already see a bunch of other things I'll need to disconnect, like that line to the block I'll need to disconnect, or is that the transmission? Maybe I can get away with that. I'm not sure what is part of the transmission, what part of the bell housing. Pretty sure that's the transmission. That's the transmission bell housing, and the motor's behind that. I'm not sure. I can't really tell. So, regardless, I'm gonna press on. Got the hose down there disconnected. These are the hoses I was talking about. So, this goes to the top of the radiator, goes to the bottom, and this one goes to the cylinder head. They all snake their way down this way. So, thermostat, there is another, yeah, right there, whatever that is, part of the manifold or cylinder, or, yeah, coolant manifold? I don't even know. And then the bottom part goes to something else. I don't freaking know where they go, but I know where they connect to. So got them disconnected. Now what I'm going to do is try to get this whole thing out of here, and that will probably make a mess, but I don't know what else to do about that. So I think I'm gonna place it right over here. So I'm gonna kind of clear a path, get you guys set up, try not to fall over. Oh, maybe you can sit on my my workbench here. That'll probably be a good spot to watch. If I can open up this freaking, there we go, tripod. Nice. Yeah, that'll give you a cool view. Very cool seeing this thing just spill coolant everywhere, I'm sorry. But yeah, let go. It smells so bad in here. I dumped a bunch of brake clean under there to clean up some stuff. I mean, never mind, I didn't make any messes. Don't mind that. There we go. You know, I might put this in the sink. Deal with that later. That was actually way easier than I thought it was gonna be. Way cleaner. Oh yeah, that gives me so much more room to see everything. See all the wiring, see the AC stuff. Wow, noise. And I did some soul searching, guys. As I was working on some of the stuff, I'm like, you know, maybe I don't need to take the radiator out. Maybe just the fans is all I need. Because with the radiator out of the way, and I guess the closest thing would probably be the crank pulley. I have over 6 inches of room, and I mean, just basing off of this possibly being the farthest part of the motor, and it just needs to clear the cowl, I think I could finesse it out and then just up and out with the cherry picker without needing any, you know, additional space with the front out. Obviously more is better, but I'll get what I can take. I'll work with what I got. Yep, so got access to this. I think once the motor is out, that'll be the best time to work on the wire loom, to fix that, the injector wires. But yeah, man, that gives me so much more room for all this stuff. There's like this water log I need to disconnect, it looks like, and some sensors. Oh, there's really not much left. I mean, I see the oil cooler. This is looking easier than I thought. Yeah, who knew? Once you just move some stuff out of the way, it's just easier. I say that now. You know, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff I still need to take off. Belt, accessories, more of this wiring, cooling stuff on that side, then the exhaust side, and starter, bell housing bolts, torque converter bolts, and a bunch of miscellaneous stuff everywhere else. Like all these brackets holding on to everything. You know, I was under the car and I pointed out that one. I should have just taken it off while I was down there. But you know what? Whatever. Yeah, I wonder why this coolant part's leaking. What is that? The cylinder head? Cooler? I might need a new one of these because I thought it was leaking from behind, but I can't tell if it's cracked or something. It's got this weird two-piece design. It looks like it's weird. Anyways, yeah, just taking it in right now. Well, guys, sorry I jumped the gun. I got the belt off. I just got a 16 mil on this and pushed it down. You could also just get a bolt and thread it into this hole here, and it'll push the arm down. I don't like the idea of that. I mean, they designed it for it, but as I see it, if you were to put a bolt in there, you maybe crack the aluminum casting. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I just don't know if I trust that. So I chose not to do it that way. I chose to just put the socket on here and pull the belt off. And one thing I didn't know is that they got double serpentine belts. So normal American belts, they just have, you know, I guess most cars just have a rib side. This has a double rib side, so I guess you use either way. I'm not sure. Also, it's a 7 rib belt. It's heavy duty. Yeah, man. There's the last one. Here we go. There we go. Got that tensioner off. Oops. I try to just keep everything together so it's all one unit. Just place them upright so the bolts don't fall out. Oof. I just spun this and dust fell at the bottom of it. Sounds fine though, or not. It probably is fine. So I believe this is the water pump here, and couldn't tell you why, but it has this. I don't know if this is part of the vacuum system or if it's a coolant, and it has to be vacuum. It connects to this old vacuum harness that goes up all the way over there. So it is sludgy as heck under it. Like I said, there was a bit of weepage. It's just blasting it with light. You can see a little bit of weepage under there. So I don't know exactly what's causing that leak. I'm gonna pop that thing out real quick. I mean, I guess I could do it when the motor's out, but it's so accessible right here. Might as well watch a bunch of coolant come out of this thing. I mean, it's just got an O-ring. It looks pretty flat. Yeah, this is all, yeah, it's just the O-ring that failed, definitely. So what I'll do is I'll just replace the O-ring on this thing because that is flat as heck. You don't want that. You don't want that thing leaking. Put it back for now. Yeah, that slid in way too easy. These are supposed to be, you know, basically hard to put in, and you use the bolt to kind of draw it in a little bit. You don't want to pinch the O-ring, of course, but it shouldn't be that easy. All right, so we got this guy here. See, part of this is, I don't know if, I'll definitely want to clean this, but it's part of the vacuum system to the water And like there's a bunch of grime on this thing, so I don't know if this is leaking. Like, why is this all grimy, you know? So I'll just pop this up and out of the way. It's just got a trim retainer right there, and then pop the line off the water pump, and I can just drape this up and off out of the way. Overall, like I mentioned, there's just so much gunk on this thing. I don't know if this is caused by a leak itself, or if this was that coolant leak. I mean, it's black, so I don't think it's coolant. Maybe it is. Usually this is a sign of oil. Definitely going to be giving this car a vacuum test, meaning like a smoke test. Make sure that there are no vacuum leaks anywhere. Love these simple green wipes. Now it's just two 13 millimeters. Oop, I should have gotten a long one. There we go. All right, two 13 millimeters holding this alternator on. And wouldn't you know it, they put this freaking idler right in the way of that bolt. Look at that. I can't even get the thing on. Need to get a wrench. See, what the heck is wrong with Porsche or Volkswagen or whatever? Like, why did they have to do this to us? Now, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to ram my fist right into the engine. I'm try my best not to do that. Hopefully it didn't. Okay, it broke loose. Not too tight, preferably. Oh, yeah. And guys, I always get bloody knuckles. I don't care. I just apply all the torque. I ram my fist into everything. Always. Just a mechanic thing, you know? There we go. Take off that alternator clip. So my question is, if I can't even get a socket on, can I get the bolt out of this thing? Is it just gonna ram into this? Yeah, it's just hitting the freaking pulley. Do I have to remove that pulley? How do I even remove it? There's no Torx on or anything. And there's no bolt head on the other side. I am confused. Victory, guys. It's got two pry tools in here and just coaxed it off. Just a clip or something. Oh, I got a flashlight on. I need to turn that off. But look at that, guys. That revealed the bolt. All right, now that we are back to our regularly scheduled broadcast, let's see what size that is. I got a 14 and a 15. Looks a little bit bigger than the 13. Yeah, I was right. It was a 14. Now, who wants to guess down below? Is this going to spin? Or is this just going to break loose? It's going to spin with the pulley, or is this going to break loose? Okay, there we go. Easy peasy. All right, there we go. We got that just simple. It's also, I don't know if this is original, but seems fine. Now that gave us access to the bottom bolt. Yep, it was a complete long bolt, just like the top one for the alternator. And now that we have access to the alternator, or the bolt's off, just get a pry bar and pry it out of here. Normally it requires a pry bar, unfortunately. What I like to do, and I don't know if this is proper, but I just do it, is I go back and unbolt that. But I go back and I shave down the ears of this so it just slides on easier. I know you want a good electrical connection, you know, ground from the block to that. But you know what, guys, it is, you know, easier to just not have to deal with that. It crimps down anyways. You know, it has dowels in here, and when you bolt it down, it kind of squeezes them. So you'll be good either way. I'm now at the point where I need to disconnect the alternator. It is a 10 millimeter, and the battery's still connected. So I'm going to go disconnect the battery, and then I can take this off, get the alternator out of the way. I mean, technically, it could just sit out of the way like this, but I don't want anything arcing or touching, so I'll probably just avoid that. Probably also take the dipstick tube out, just right here. Oh, man, we're coming along here. All right, guys, I got the battery disconnected. I don't know if the fuel system primes when you just open the door, but I smell gas now, so. Battery's disconnected, and oh, also I'm hearing some dripping on the ground. You might have heard that in the background. So I think the fuel system primes just with the door opening. So interesting little quinky dink if you have a Porsche. You know, something to look out for. Don't want to drop that. Yep, now we got our battery cable off. I'm just going to put the nut back on the alternator and pull that bad boy out of there. Look at that. Porsche engineering. All right, guys, just knocking these things out one at a time here. Next, we have I believe this is the power, or no, this is the AC compressor here. So what we got to do is unbolt it. I think we got one right here. Got another one that goes through. It's kind of hard to see down there. Probably one more hiding somewhere, or maybe we're lucky and it's just those two. That'd be really poggers if we can just get those two off and just set it to the side. Then we just have the power steering at the very bottom. Power steering is going to be similar, I'm assuming. Once we have power steering, we don't really got much else on this side. This is that dipstick I was talking about. There's like a sensor on it. Oh, it just comes out. But the sensor right here, I don't know what that's for. We will cross that bridge when we come to it. Probably just disconnect it. Just gotta remember all these. And we got a wire loom right here connected to the motor mount. I think we're just going to pop those wires off of that. We got the oil cooler. And yeah, definitely make sure we get the right one. I see there's two lines. One is for the coolant itself. The other is for the engine oil. so don't want to mix those up. And this whole log manifold thing, I don't know if that's plastic or metal. That part, I think it looks plastic, but it goes into the side here. I guess that's where the water pump is. I think this plastic part sleeves into this metal. It's behind here is metal. I don't get it, but I'm gonna try removing as little as possible. I think I just need to either undo that side or undo that side. I don't know which side I'm gonna leave in. This, I think, just goes to the heater core or something. Just goes back there. And yeah, we're getting really close with that. I might start, let me just, while I have this on my mind, I'm gonna get some liquid wrench and douse those nuts. There we go. Liquid wrench. I like to watch a lot of Project Farm, and this one performed really well for, just being a good old lubricant oil nut bolt penetrant. So we're just going to douse each one of these. We'll probably do this a couple times, until we are able to start pulling the manifolds off. I know you guys can't see anything. There we go. If you can't see them, just spray and pray. Just get oil everywhere. That's all right. More oil the better. There. So douse those. Those will sit. Douse again before the end of the day. I don't plan on taking the manifold off today. That'll probably be for another video or another day. Probably tomorrow, actually. So, yep, we'll be taking all these studs off. Those as well. Manifolds will come off. Cats will hopefully just stay there. I guess that's probably another issue with doing this whole thing and pulling the motor out without having all this room in the front. Because if you lift up, this will make contact with the catalytic converter. But I think we'll be able to finesse it out as is. In worst case scenario, I just get on the underside of the vehicle and pull the cats or just the downpipes off. It looks like we got a lot of access in that department. What the heck is this? There's just so much stuff in here. I just don't know what it does. Like, where does this even go? I don't even see. Right there, maybe? No. But I'm going to keep plugging away at this. Probably just pull this dipstick out, unbolt the AC compressor, scooch it out of the way, get some of the remaining stuff off this. And, given the time, I might be ending it soon here, actually. So sorry to say that, but I've been working at this quite a bit, but I'm going to be working on it a lot more tomorrow too, so it'll be fine. Okay guys, I think it is time to probably end it for today. My overhead light died. I need to charge that. I went ahead and disconnected some more of these cooler lines, so, it's just making way more of a mess than my ground. God dang it. So anyways, this whole manifold deal, I think it bolts in down here, and I could remove it, but I don't know if that's the play. I'm gonna, just think on it. I always do. I got some bolts down here. I don't know if I need to remove the oil cooler from bolting into the engine itself. It sure looks like it does, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle that one. Still need to unbolt the AC compressor there, but we're getting down to it on this side as far as the last remaining things. I think on the rear there are some, like wire harness clips retaining the harness to the block. And then, of course, we have the exhaust here. And once we have that out of the way, we can get to the real stuff, starter, bell housing bolts, and the torque converter bolts. I did also kind of, look at this. It's going to be really hard for you guys to see. But the actual bell housing, or the part that bolts the block, I believe is right here. Back there, when I was under the car earlier, it looked like the multiple pieces. We had the transmission, we had, I think, the bell housing, and then the block itself. I think we just need to unbolt from the block side of it. We don't need to get those rear bolts that are accessible from down there. I think pretty much everything is going to be accessible up here. I'll just have to check, you're really not gonna be able to see, but right here, there's a bolt, bell housing bolt. So just need to pull those, and basically the motor should be free to come out. Again, I'm gonna hope and pray I don't need to pull the radiator, because if I pull the radiator, I have to pull the bumper, the radiator support, all that extra stuff. I'm pretty hopeful, so we'll see. Also, yeah, I got this whole vacuum system that sat along the valve cover, or the cylinder head, top of it, down to this. Got that out of the way. It's just one thing at a time, and I'm hoping I can remember everything. It is a lot to remember, but when it comes down to a car, any vehicle, any motor pull, engine removal, it's all about the same. You just get the wiring harness out of the way, disconnect the coolant lines, disconnect the exhaust, any other harness, connector, stuff, just get out of the way. Make enough room to pull the motor, bell housing bolts, torque converter, starter, all that, and it'll come out. So principles are the same, so that's just what I'm working with here. I do want to thank you guys for sticking around and watching to the very end. I really do appreciate it. If you want to join us as a member down below, you can actually watch to the next video right now. So if you want to just figure out what happens next, just go ahead and join us as a member. It's the best way to support me and the channel. So I do appreciate you guys, just watching the videos, commenting, liking the videos, all that definitely helps me. If you click the notification bell, definitely also helps me. You'll get to find out when I got new videos posted. So thank you guys so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time.